Today, I'm going to be talking about the performance evaluation of real-time subseasonal rainfall forecast over West Africa of 2020 and 2021 monsoon season for operational use. I'm standing here alone, but as you can see here, I'm 6 months strong. So all thanks to these great minds who have been my mentors and who have been behind. If I have moved forward, they have been the one that have been moving me forward, especially Steve and Linda at the University of Reading. So we want to understand the scientific attributes of S2S in real time. So that is our basic objective. Our basic aim is to understand the science behind S2S before we use it as an operation in real time. And the most objective that we have is to access this, if you want to understand, access this performance and see how well it performs in real time in terms of how it represents monsoon dynamics. So we are doing it in order for us to ask the following question. 1, what is the skill of S2S in predicting monsoon evolution in real time? 2, is the evaluation of these S2S model sensitive observational uncertainties? You will get to know what that too means. And is the model skillful in predicting the climatology and variability in terms of the endcast? So the data that we use for this study is from ECMWF S2S in real time. This research that is ongoing is as a result of an international collaboration that is called GCRF African Swift. And because of the fact that we are in these projects, we're able to access the ECMWF not from the database, but in real time, because the database is about 3 weeks behind the time. So we access these from the Jasmine of University of Reading. So we access from March to October of 2020 and 2021 in real time every Monday. But every Monday that we do it every 2 Mondays. That is every 2 weeks we access this real-time data. And for us to have these uncertainties between observations, we decided to do this evaluation using 2 satellite observations, using first the GPM IMAG and the TAMSAT from Reading, and they cover the same period. In other words, we have about 15 initialized dates, and each initialized date have a 40-day period. That is, we call the target dates, and within that, we have 10 days as lead time, as decadal. It's an operational thing, because in the real world of research, it's a weekly evaluation that they perform. But we cannot use that weekly evaluation because our agricultural sector do not need that. What they need is decadal information. So here, we now have to classify these start dates that we'll call start date initialized dates into season. The season that classify into 4 that we call the pre-monsoon season, the first southern monsoon peak, the northern monsoon peak, and the second southern monsoon peak that falls into this. So, in order for us to determine the attribute of the quality of the precision forecast of the ECMWF, we apply 2 evaluation techniques: the deterministic techniques and the probabilistic techniques. In the deterministic techniques, we computed the bias, the anomaly, we look at the synchronization from the anomaly, then the linear correlation. And for the probabilistic evaluation, we only use the RAM probability skill score. I wouldn't want to go to how we computed the bias, but it is important that I talk about how we computed the correlation scale. The correlation scale is computed for all lead times from each start date, from all start dates for each lead time, of each lead time from each start dates. All this correlation computation is to totally see from every aspect of the quality what will be our results. And because when we are giving advice to the government, it must be total. So that is the reason. It's not something to confuse you at all. You will see reason why it is supposed to be like this. So the rank probability skill score, we follow the Wiggle et al. Of 2007, and it is based on 4 rainfall threshold values. The first threshold is rainfall that is less than 10 millimeter that is less than 10 millimeters. Another threshold is rainfall that is greater than 25 millimeter but less than 50 millimeters. The third threshold is the threshold that is less than 50 millimeter but that is greater than 50 millimeter but less than 100 millimeter. And the final for the fourth one is threshold that is greater than 100 millimeter. And it's also follow for each lead time for all start date and for all the lead time from each season. Later, we classify according to climatology. We divided the West Africa into four zones, which is the Gulf of Guinea, the Guinea Forest, the Sudan, and the Sahel. It is based on rainfall climatology, because I do not want you to be thinking, how do you get that? It is from this rainfall climatology. Now let us just see the preliminary analysis that we did. The first one is to see, because the first thing that the forecasters wants to see is this, well, what do you call this? Does my, does my forecast resemble my observation? That is eyeball to eyeball evaluation. So the upper panel is the probability forecast from the ECMWF of less than 10 millimeter of rainfall, followed by the TIMESAT binary observation. And it is the binary attributes that we use. That is, what is the binary of areas that are less than 10 millimeter of rainfall in TIMESAT, and what are areas that are less than 10 millimeter in GPM. And you can instantaneously see the difference between the TIMESAT and the GPM. Also is the rainfall of greater than 100 millimeter of rainfall. This is saying that can the model produce wet, or can it produce dryness? Then, for us as a developer, we want to also tell the forecasters that, look, anytime that we give you a forecast, there are possibility of biases. And the possibility of biases is how the forecasters will manage its information when it is disseminating it. So we also look at the bias from for GPM and for TIMESAT. And you could see also that if you think that, oh, this is the best observation for me to use as evaluation, you might not be getting it right until you see both together. So you can see that while there are wetter than normal that the model is wetter than the observation during the peak of the northern monsoon in in 2020, 2021, and in the hindcast, you can see that in the hindcast of the TAMSAT, it's all wet all through. Okay, so this is the anomaly to see whether the model in every decade follow the observation. And for us to justify, to give credence to the model, we also perform what is called synchronization techniques, so that we do not only follow the anomaly in terms of magnitude, we only follow the anomaly in terms of direction. This is the correlation. And this correlation comes to effect because of the fact that in every time we believe that model would not perform in the first lead time, and will perform better in the first lead than in the last lead time. But unfortunately, it might not be like that because there is no sequential movement, although you can see that the anomaly correlation in all, irrespective of what you use. Remember that you are seeing something like spatiotemporal and spatial. I don't have the time to explain that. But also, this is this is talking about the lead times as it increases. You can see that although the first lead time might have a stronger correlation scale, but it doesn't mean that the last lead time has the lowest correlation scale. The same thing for the probabilistic skill score. So the probabilistic skill score that I want to dwell on is the lead time. Although it is also seen that the first lead time may have the stronger correlation scale in both TAMSAT and GPM, but it doesn't mean that the last lead time has the lowest the rank probabilistic skill score. So in summary, we have seen that the model captured the monsoon rainfall spatial and temporal evolution characteristics, including the jump. We also see that while the correlation in the hindcast is strongest, the anomalies display the weakest correlation scale. That doesn't mean that the model does not do well because it is weak in the anomaly. That is why we corrected that, and we give credence to that in the using the synchronization techniques. Seasonally, we see that while the model correlation scale is strongest during the second southern monsoon peak in real time and in the anomaly, the correlation scale during the non-term monsoon peak is strongest in the hindcast. And finally, we see that the results show that assessment of the skill in this model is sensitive to the uncertainties in the validating observations. So I may want to thank the Global Challenge Research Fund and SPARC for giving me this unique opportunity to stand before you people and give this brief talk. I thank you. Molto bene. Grazie.
Good. Eniola, thank you very much for your presentation. Do we have any questions from the audience here in Reading? Amanda?
Thanks, Eniola, for the presentation. So you talked about the uncertainties in the verification data, the observations that you're using, and this is something that's coming up increasingly now with our understanding of changes in extreme events with climate change, that there's a gap basically in the observing system where we can't see really what's going on, and therefore it appears as if nothing's kind of happening, but it's just because we're not observing it. So do you think there are in terms of being able to get to a point where we can evaluate these forecast systems in a more satisfactory way? I mean, what do we need to do in terms of observations to support that? If you've got any thoughts?
Yes, every observation used, I believe, is unique in its own way. It is now left to the forecasters from this type of evaluation to determine where do I concentrate? Where do I rely on? Like in Thamsat, you cannot use Thamsat over the Gulf of Guinea because of the fact that there is no information, or not more information over the Gulf of Guinea. But at least you can use it over the Sahel region of Africa or of West Africa. In this way, you can manipulate your mindset that if I am concentrating on this region, this is the kind of evaluation I must perform, and this is the type of observation that I must use. It can go beyond this. It can be evaluated using fields. It can be evaluated using ships or crew, and it can be evaluated using the whole scope of all the satellite observation to see whether we can better the uncertainty in the evaluation.
Okay, thank you. Boulder, do we have any questions?
Do we have any questions here? Looks like we don't have any questions.
Okay, Rachel, online?
Yeah, we have a question online from Ted Shepard. Does the model struggle more with dry rather than wet anomalies? That's how it looked to me.
What?
So does the model struggle more with dry rather than wet anomalies?
Does the model struggle with more?
With wet or with dry anomalies? Which does the model have more difficulty with?
No, well, I might not be able to do that, but I will. That is why we did this. That is why we did this synchronization skill. Because we want to know if my observation is dry, is my model dry, irrespective of the magnitude. So we move from here, every aspect of the signal of dryness or wetness into here, and we perform this synchronization technique that give credence to the forecast. And we can see that if we do that, whether it is cold or wet, whether it is dry or wet, the model performs brilliantly well, and it can be relied upon on any wet or dry signal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Eniola, again. And that is the end of this session, but I think I now need to hand over to Amanda. Is that right, Amanda?
That would be correct. We have one slide we'd like to sneak in over here, but perhaps we could thank all the session chairs and the online voices one more time. Tanya Calvo,